I live in Bangalore, India, and this is a true story that happened to me when I was 13 years old. One night, around 8 o'clock, I was lying face down on my bed, my eyes closed, music playing softly in my ears. Suddenly, I felt a sharp tug on my toes. I turned and looked toward the corner of the bed, and that's when I saw it. A pale hand, just barely visible, quickly slipped back under the bed. At first, I thought it had to be my dad. He loved to play pranks on me and scare me sometimes. I got up, knocked on the mattress with both hands, and said,
"Dad, I know you're under there. Don't scare me."
In response, I heard a knock coming from under the bed. Still laughing a little, I knocked again, louder this time.
"Dad, come out! Come out now!"
I called, but then I heard my dad's voice, far away outside.
"What's going on?"
He was still outside fixing the fence, and the only door to the backyard was too far away. There was no way he could have gotten outside that fast. My mom was in the kitchen making dinner, and my brother was away in another city. I froze. My heart was pounding. I bolted from the room. When I tried to tell my family what had happened, no one believed me. They said it must have been my imagination. But I know what I saw. I saw the hand move under the bed. Even if it was just my imagination, what about the knocking sound I heard from underneath? I'm 19 years old now, and I still wonder what was under the bed that night. But honestly, I'm just glad I didn't look. This happened back when I was in my first year of college. I had moved to Wright Pierce City for my studies and was living in a hostel at the time. One night, a few of my friends and I decided to go out. Luckily, I had brought my scooter from home when I moved, which made traveling around easier. Of course, sneaking out of the hostel at night wasn't easy, but I had built a good relationship with the warden, and that night he helped us. There were 4 of us to start: me, Halor, Jai, and Aditya. 2 of our female friends, Neha and Sumya, were going to meet us later. It took them a little while, but eventually they arrived at the spot we told them to. Now we had 2 scooters and 6 people, so we split up. Jai offered to drive Neha and Sumya, while I drove my scooter with Halor and Aditya. As we were getting ready to go, I asked Neha where we were headed. She just smiled and said,
"Just follow us."
It was winter, and the chill in the air made it harder to ride comfortably at midnight, but we managed. After a while, I started noticing how far out of the city we were. That's when Aditya asked Neha,
"Where are we going?"
Neha responded that she knew of a mall, one that had been abandoned and was rumored to be haunted. That's when things started to feel off. Halor didn't like the sound of it. Honestly, neither did I. But we'd already come this far, and I didn't want to be the only one to ruin the night, so I agreed. But Aditya leaned toward me and whispered,
"Look at Sumya."
I turned to look, and something was definitely wrong. Her face was pale, and she looked uneasy. I asked,
"Sumya, are you okay? Feeling sick?"
She shook her head.
"No, I'm not sick, but something's not right. I have a really bad feeling. We should turn back."
Neha snapped at her.
"Shut up, or we'll leave you here in this forest."
Before I could respond, Halor suddenly asked me to stop the scooter. He said he wasn't feeling well, so I pulled over. Jai, riding behind us, stopped as well. Aditya gave Halor some water while he sat down on a milestone nearby. We started chatting and began coming up with reasons why the mall had been abandoned. Then, out of nowhere, Sumya let out a scream, a loud scream. It startled all of us. Halor choked on his water and stood up abruptly. Sumya began to cry. I rushed to her, grabbing her arms.
"What happened?"
I asked. Her voice trembled.
"We need to leave now, please."
Neha was furious.
"Stop acting childish."
She shouted, but this time Sumya shouted back.
"You need to stop this. I'm not joking anymore."
That was all I needed to hear. I told Sumya to get on the scooter. We all climbed back on and headed toward town. The ride was quiet, tense. Sumya was clinging to Jai so tightly it made me a little jealous, I won't lie, but it also showed just how terrified she was. Around 5:30 a.m., we stopped at a tea stall. As soon as we parked, Sumya rushed to a chair and sat down. We gathered around her, still shaken. I asked,
"Are you okay now? Do you want some water or food?"
She shook her head, staring blankly.
"No, just let me sit here."
Jai moved closer and gently asked,
"What did you see?"
At first, she said nothing, but then, as if reliving it, her face turned pale again. What she told us still gives me goosebumps. She said that as we entered the outer forest area, she had noticed something, or someone, a woman, hiding behind the trees. At first, she couldn't get a good look because we were riding, but when we stopped and Halor sat on that milestone, she saw the woman clearly. She said the woman was standing right beside Halor. Her legs were bent at strange angles, her eyes pure white. Her skin was pale and lifeless. We were all frozen, especially Halor. He just stood there, replaying the exact moment in his head. Since that night, I've stopped venturing to the outskirts after dark, because sometimes you don't know what's watching you from the trees.
Hi, my name is Malaysia. I'm here to tell you a true story that happened to me when I was about 7 or 8-ish years old. Back then, in 2011, a tornado had hit our house. The damage was bad enough that I was sent to stay with my grandma for a few weeks until everything went back to normal. One day, my grandma had had almost all of her grandchildren over to stay the night. Let's call them Marcus, Leah, Amia, Rico, and Nina. We all slept on the floor on pallets. I woke up in the middle of the night. The time on the cable box was 3:20, 3:40, something like that. Everyone else was sleeping, and I watched the TV for a little bit when my attention drifted towards this dark hallway, though I really wasn't sure why. After about 2 minutes, a figure appeared. It looked just like my grandpa, with a huge stomach, sort of a long head, but there was something off. The figure was much lighter than him. My grandpa was really dark-skinned. He seemed to walk in a strange way, more of like a limp. And something else strange was that he was walking towards my uncle's room, right across from the room he and my grandma shared. He never went in there. Being the curious little child that I was, I called out to him like, "Papa?" The figure stopped as soon as it heard my voice, slowly turned my way. Once I got a good look at his face, my heart dropped. It wasn't him. It was something else. The figure charged my way. Terrified, I hid under the covers, forcing myself to try to go to sleep. When I woke up again around 12 or 1, later than all of my cousins, I tried to explain to them what had happened, and they just laughed at me and said they didn't believe me, except Amia, who was very quiet. When all of my cousins got up to make themselves something to eat, I looked over at Amia. She looked back at me with fear in her eyes and said, "I saw it too." This story is very much real. When I'm sitting alone thinking about it, I remember it. I can't believe I remember it to this day. I'm 20 now, and I still refuse to sleep without a blanket over my head and my bedroom door closed.